Welcome to the BBC Schools News Report Day in Hawick High School. The news headlines are:
Borders police forces are due to merge and unite.
The Fast Patrol focuses on the year of sport because of the London Olympics.
Hawick continues to produce top-flight rugby players.
Currently, Scotland has 8 police forces and 8 fire services. The police forces have around 17.5 thousand workers and the fire service has 8.5 thousand firefighters. The Scottish Government have made the decision to merge the 8 police forces into one. Not everyone is happy with this decision.
The deadline for the merger is planned to be April 1st, 2013.
The Scottish Police Force is merging into one force?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's probably a good idea from a money point of view, but maybe not in the sense that you don't get to know your local policeman.
It's hard to know how it would all work out really, because we do need,
we
do need quite a presence in it. If it was just a guise to cut the numbers, that would be an issue for me really.
What are your views on Scotland's police force at the moment?
Well, I think policing in general is in Scotland we police by consent, I think, which is the key aspect of it. I think down in the Scottish borders we have quite a unique style of policing. It's very much community based. As I say, having worked in Edinburgh, there's a completely different approach to policing in Edinburgh than what there is to in the Scottish borders. But I think overall in Scotland, I think policing, we do a good job. Recorded crimes at its lowest level now for 32 years, so we're doing something right.
How is this going to affect rural areas which don't have full-time forces?
For yourselves who live in a more rural town, I think the big fear factor has always been that we're going to lose lots of cops off the street and they're all going to get sucked into Edinburgh and they're all going to get sucked into Glasgow, where everything that's came about so far in talks has been no, we will maintain our local presence as much as we can, and I suppose for somebody like myself as a local senior officer, that's what we need to fight for. I think there's this real fear factor that the smaller rural areas that maybe don't have the same levels of crime are going to lose resources to the bigger cities where there's more crime, there's more issues around about antisocial behaviour, more issues around about drugs and things. The clear message is that's not going to be the case. We're going to try and maintain your local presence, try and maintain your numbers of officers you see on the street, of trying to maintain your community officers that you see walking about, trying to maintain our locality integration officers, which you have within the schools. These are all really key things for a rural perspective, and I don't think it will have a huge effect on rural policing.
What changes will be necessary to have this in police force?
There's lots and lots of changes. First and foremost, we'll have a new Chief Constable, and we'll only have one. We currently have 8, so we're going to have 1, and it's going to be the second biggest job in policing in the whole of Britain. Only the Chief Constable, or the Commissioner as they call it, of the Metropolitan Police down in London is going to be a bigger job. The Chief Constable for Scotland will be in charge of 17,500 police officers, so and over a massive area, as you can imagine, policing the whole of Scotland, so that's a huge change. Currently, I'm affiliated to Lothian Borders Police, and my police headquarters is based in Fetties in Edinburgh. But we will have a new headquarters for the new Chief Constable. There's lots of talk of that being there are training colleges at the moment up in Tullyallen, which is pretty central to Scotland, but these type of things have got to be decided. I think probably longer term changes, there may well be changes to uniform. All the fancy markings on the cars will eventually through time change from having a Lothian Borders logo to having a Scottish Police Force logo. But fundamentally, lots of changes will take place in the background that the public will never ever see. I think what is important is that the principles of maintaining police officers on the street will not change. We still need to have your local cops, your local bobbies, whatever you want to call them, on the street. They might be wearing a slightly different uniform and not having Lothian Borders Police but Scottish Police Force, but other than that, lots of the changes the public will never ever see.
And do you think the government is raising towards the change?
In day one, do I think that going into my work on the 31st of March 2013 as a Lothian Border Police officer, waking up on the 1st of April in 2013 is going to be a different world for me? Absolutely not. I'll be going to my job and carrying out my job as I see fit. Whether I'm actually working for the Living and Borders Police or the Scottish Police Service, my functions will still be the same, my aims and objectives will still be the same, and ultimately we're out there to deliver a service for our community, and that will always be the case.
The fantastic fashion show has come around again to Hawick High School.
During the Creative Fashion and Textile course, pupils designed, developed and displayed all the sporty outfits they had created.
All these outfits will be on show at the main feature tonight.
During the course of making these outfits, we interviewed Mrs. Hood and one of the design students.
I think we're ready.
Okay, so how and when did the fashion show come about?
We started the course 9 years ago, and it was through a friend of mine, Liz Parks, who worked in home economics, and I work in the art department, and we thought it would be really good if we could work together, because she liked to do tailoring, dressmaking, and I love textiles, so we thought if we could bring the two together we could produce a really good course.
So what does the course involve and how popular do you think it is?
Well, over the years we started off, our first year we had 9 pupils. And that was a bit manic for the fashion show, because obviously the girls had to get changed and run onto the catwalk. So it was a bit mad to start with. But over the years we've built up, and we usually have 20 pupils. We can only take 20 in the classroom. And it starts off, sometimes it'll start off, we'll have about 28, and then it whittles down as people are changing courses or whatever and settling into their coursework. So we now certificate it, and it's an Intermediate 2 Creative Industries Award. So when the students do the course, they can get an award at the end of it.
So what themes are being employed this year?
Well, Hawick is in the middle of Year of Sport through Vision 2014. Last year we were Arts and Culture, this year we're Year of Sport because of the Olympics, so the show reflects that, because it's the girls have decided, the students have decided that it's going to be called Runway. And all our themes are linked with sort of sporting events. All our sections for the fashion show are linked with sporting events.
And what kind of reaction do you expect this year?
Well, it's quite difficult because we have been, the week that we've got the fashion show is actually also the Hawick Opera. So I think we're kind of suffering a wee bit because of that. But we're hoping that tonight's show we'll have more people attending tonight's show. So fingers crossed, we hope. It's always been really popular and the feedback from everybody has been really good.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Your role is. So what sparked your interest to join the Creative Fashion course?
Well, I've been to the Creative Fashion Show for quite a few years before doing the course this year, and it sounded like it was great fun, so I thought, being in 6th year, I wanted to enjoy my 6th year, so I thought I'd get involved in doing the course.
So what exactly are you involved in? Have you got any specific role?
Well, what we do is throughout the year we have 12 different sections, and for each section we have to make a garment for the section. So usually we start with something and have an idea of how we want to adapt it, or do whatever we want to the garment for each of the 12 sections. And then we have a photo shoot with a professional photographer, which is good fun. And then the main event is our Creative Fashion Show, which was last night and today.
So that must be quite exciting. Were you nervous at all?
Yeah, I was both nervous and excited actually, but once we started it was good fun. The first time you go down the catwalk it's quite scary, but it's good fun.
And do you think you got the reaction initially that you wanted?
The afternoon show's audience were great. It was a lot of the primary school pupils, so they were good fun, lots of cheering and things. The evening show, the Wednesday is never as big a show as the Thursday. It was good fun, but I think tonight's audience is going to be even better because tonight is our main show.
And if you could go back in 1 year, 2 years, would you do it all again?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely recommend the course. It's good fun.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
It goes wrong, we always fight, we're never going to get it right. You don't know how to make a sound, you're lying there on the cold ground. I want us just to get things right, so that we can walk into the light. Oh, what have I done to you? I'm never going to see this through.
Deputy Head of Hawick High School says that the success of providing international rugby players is down to the passion of pride. But Miss Alison Little says there's more to be done to encourage the girls to play rugby.
What do you think about the rugby in Hawick High School?
I think the rugby in Hawick High School is a really strong tradition, and it really has come from a large number of things. Basically because we have had a strong tradition in the borders of rugby for a long time with the Border League, but also because a large number of staff help to support the rugby programme, including the rector and some of the other staff such as Mr McIver, Mr Honey, Mr Allett and all the PE staff who help to run the teams in the school. So I think in rugby in Hawick High School is strong and is getting stronger as we speak.
What programmes does Hawick High School run?
There's a large number of different programmes that we run to do with rugby. The first one is the School of Rugby in S1 and the School of Rugby in S2, and that's an SRU funded programme where the boys and girls who've signed up to it actually take part in 5 sessions during the week. So they take part in nutrition, they take part in some fitness, and some value sessions as well as skills and rugby training. So they get a large number of different things, both S1 and S2. Following on from that, the Bill McLaren Foundation have worked in conjunction with us to do the Rugby Academy in S3, where the boys and girls go over to the border, or are taught by Mr Marshall in the school through the Borders College, and they do lessons in rugby and performance and evaluating their own performance. So that's really helped. So that's S3 and S4. And obviously we've got the extracurricular programme where we've got lots of different teams at every different level, where there are extracurricular games every Saturday, and also the links to the local community, to Hawick Albion, PSA and to Hawick RFC. So we've got a lot of going on in Hawick High School and the surrounding area.
We believe that Hawick High School has promoted 59 caps for Scotland. Why do you think the high school has as many players?
I think, again, it's threefold. It's to do with the staff, it's to do with the tradition, and it's to do with the programmes that we've put in place as well. Over the years, there's been a large number of Hawick players come from Hawick High School, and currently we've got 2 in the under-17 squad, along with obviously Stuart Hogg, who's playing for Scotland at the moment, which is a wonderful achievement. I think it's because there's been a passion and a drive in Hawick for a long time, along with the effort and the support of the staff that run those programmes.
Stuart Hogg's in like the Scottish team.
I do.
Yes. Did you know that 59 Scottish international caps were made by Hawick High School pupils?
Yeah, my husband's one of them.
Is he? Oh, that's good. Do you feel that Hawick High School concentrates too much on rugby, or?
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you like rugby?
Very much so.
Yes. Will you be watching it on Saturday?
I will indeed, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you know that there was 59 international Scottish caps that were in Hawick High School?
I didn't know it was in high school, no, I didn't know.
Stuart Hogg, who was a former pupil at Hawick High School, has recently hit high standards and is now playing for the Scottish team. Is Stuart Hogg an inspiration to you?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, because he's only 19, he plays for Scotland.
What would you like to go on and be like him?
Aye, because I want to play for Scotland.
He got a proper good try when he just went on for the second game, two tries in 2 games, but the first one wasn't allowed, so he's done really well.
Would you like to go on and be like him?
Well, if I could get there, I would go.
Is Stuart Hogg an inspiration to you?
Very much so, yes.
Why?
Well, he's my cousin, so he's just knew him since he was a bairn, and just had good times together.
Alright.
Good.
Is your goal to be in the Scotland team?
Aye, love to be in the Scotland team.
Why?
Because it's just an inspiration, because you get to play for your country.
Would you like to go on and be like him?
I'd like to go on and be like Stuart Hogg.
Is your goal to be in the Scotland team?
Yes, it's to be in the Scotland team.
And why?
Because rugby's my sport and I like to get as far as I can in rugby.
Were you at the Scotland-France game?
Yes, I was.
How did you feel when the try was made?
Felt happy for him. It was his first try.
That's all for this episode, folks. Bye.